What you're seeing wasn't filmed by a camera. It was born from code. And it's forcing us to ask one of the most urgent questions of our time. Can a machine actually, truly replace a human artist? This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now.
Let's just jump right in with the big one, the question that is keeping a lot of people up at night. Can a machine actually, truly replace a human artist?
Today, we're diving deep into the massive collision happening right now between AI, creativity, and copyright. And trust me, this isn't some far-off science fiction scenario anymore. This is happening right now, in real time, and it's forcing literally everyone to figure out where they stand.
So what exactly kicked off this whole firestorm? Well, it's a brand new generation of AI. We're not just talking about creating still images anymore. We're talking about generating entire cinematic video scenes just from a few words of text. The two names you absolutely need to know right now are OpenAISora and Runway's Aleph. These aren't just small updates to existing tech. No, this is a monumental leap forward in what generative AI can do, a total game changer.
Okay, let's really get into what this stuff can do, because it is staggering. You can type in a simple prompt, something like a cinematic shot of a golden retriever on a mountain at sunset, and what you get back looks like it was shot by a professional film crew. But it goes way beyond that. You can take a video that already exists and just digitally add things or remove them. You can change the entire style from, say, realistic to an animated cartoon, or even generate completely new camera angles that were never ever filmed in the first place. It is an unbelievable creative toolkit.
But here's the catch. All this incredible power comes at a price, and that price is data. A lot of data. To learn how to create, these AI models have to look at, well, basically the entire internet. We're talking massive libraries of images, text, and videos, often scraped without anyone's permission. And that has ignited our first huge battleground, copyright. And what this brings us to are two completely different ways of seeing the world. On one side, you've got the AI developers. They argue that training their models is what's called fair use. They say it's transformative, kind of like how a human artist learns by studying thousands of other artists. They'll also say the AI isn't really looking at the art, it's just learning math from it. But on the other side, you've got the creators, and they see this as straight-up, unauthorized mass copying on an industrial scale. They say, look, these are commercial products, and the developers are just free-riding on billions of dollars of our creative work without asking or paying.
Right at the very heart of this whole legal mess is this idea of fair use. Now, it's so important to understand this isn't a simple yes or no thing. There's no easy checklist. It's a flexible legal idea, a balancing act, really. It's designed to protect the people who own copyrights, sure, but also to allow for new and transformative things that are good for everyone.
So, how in the world do courts decide what's fair? Well, they use this four-factor test. And for AI, the arguments on every single point are intense. First, the purpose. Is the AI truly transforming old art into something brand new, or is it just spitting out a cheap copy? Second, the nature of the work. It's one thing to train on factual texts, but it's a lot harder to justify training on incredibly creative paintings or films. Third, the amount used. The AI developers copied, well, everything, the entirety of millions of works. And then there's the big one, the effect on the market. Does a video made with Sora directly compete with the filmmakers it was trained on? That is the multi-billion-dollar question right there. And you can't overstate how high the stakes are. This quote from a legal filing to the U.S. Copyright Office just perfectly captures the existential dread that so many artists are feeling. For them, this isn't just another lawsuit. This is a fight for the very future of their professions. This whole legal battle ties directly into our second major conflict, the impact on actual, real-world jobs. The question everyone is asking is this technology a helpful tool for artists, or is it a threat that's here to replace them?
The numbers being thrown around are pretty stark. Some economists are predicting that over 100,000 jobs just in the U.S. film, TV, and animation industries could be disrupted by 2026. I mean, that's just around the corner. We're talking about the livelihoods of real people, visual effects artists, animators, designers.
And this isn't just some guess about the future. It's already happening. A survey of studio executives shows a third of them think 3D modeling jobs are vulnerable, and a quarter say the same thing about graphic design. But that last number, that's the one that really hits home. A staggering 75%, 3 out of 4, say they have already used AI to get rid of, reduce, or consolidate jobs.
This quote from a VFX union rep really puts a human face on those statistics. The fear is that this tech is being rolled out purely to cut costs, replacing highly skilled artists with systems that just don't have the soul, the context, or the nuance of a human being.
But then you hear the complete opposite argument, and it's a powerful one. From this point of view, AI is an incredible assistant. It can handle all the tedious, repetitive tasks, the boring stuff, which frees up artists to focus on the big picture, storytelling, and creativity. It's seen as a brainstorming partner, a roulette wheel of interesting ideas that can spark human imagination.
Now, creative professionals are not just standing by and watching this happen. The historic Hollywood strikes in 2023 put some crucial rules in place. The unions won protections, making it so writers can't be replaced by AI or forced to use it, and studios now have to get an actor's consent and actually pay them for any AI-generated performances. The big push now is for mandatory retraining, so current artists can learn how to use these new tools instead of just being replaced by them.
All of this leads us to the solutions that are starting to pop up. Because this technology is moving so fast, everybody, companies, creators, governments, is in a race to build some guardrails, to figure out how to manage all this power responsibly.
One of the most important ideas for managing this tech is something called prompt governance. It sounds technical, but the idea is simple. Think of the text you type into an AI, the prompt, as if it's source code. A tiny little change in that prompt can give you a completely different result. So responsible companies are starting to treat prompts not as throwaway text, but as critical assets that you have to control, test, and audit.
So what does that look like in the real world? It means you build a system. First, you store your good, approved prompts in one central place. Second, you track every single change to them, just like programmers do with code. Third, you test them like crazy. You A/B test different versions to see which ones get the best and safest results. And finally, you log everything. You create a full audit trail so you always know what was done and what the result was.
And listen, this isn't just an idea on a whiteboard. We're already seeing it happen. OpenAI, responding to all the concerns from creators, is reportedly building more fine-grained controls into Sora. The goal is to give copyright holders more of a say in how their specific styles get used by the AI. And it's not just the tech companies trying to figure this out. Governments are getting involved too. For example, in the UK, they're looking at a whole bunch of new rules. Things like forcing companies to be transparent about what data they use for training and making it crystal clear that only a human being, not a machine, can be granted a copyright. They're also pushing for fair licensing deals and stronger international protections for performers.
So, after all that, the incredible new tech, the massive legal fights, the job fears, and the first attempts at solutions, we're left with the biggest question of all. What does the future of creativity actually look like from here?
As we've seen, it really feels like there are two very different paths we could go down. The risky path is one of displacement, right? A future where AI automates all the entry-level creative jobs and the market gets flooded with cheap, synthetic content that devalues real human skill. But there's also the path of opportunity, of augmentation. A future where AI is a powerful tool that takes care of the grunt work, empowers small, independent creators to make amazing things, and frees up human artists to focus on what they do best, having a vision, telling a story, and making us feel something.
Look, at the end of the day, the technology is here. It's not a question of if it's coming. So the real question, the one we all have to answer together, is about our relationship to it. Are we going to treat AI like a simple assistant we order around, a competitor we have to beat, or a true collaborator that we can create with? The choice we make is going to define the entire next chapter of human creativity.
So, after the legal battles, the job fears, and the first attempts at control, where does that leave us? The technology isn't going away. The real question isn't about the power of the machine, but about our relationship to it. Will we see AI as a competitor to be beaten, or a collaborator to create with? The choice we make now will define the entire next chapter of human creativity.